Gunmen on Tuesday attacked the advance team of President Muhammadu Buhari on their way to the president's hometown of Daura in Katsina state. And reacting to the incident, the president described it as sad and unwanted, while also celebrating the gallantry of the soldiers who were able to repel the attack in spite of the deaths recorded. But this statement doesn't seem to fit well with the majority of Nigerians who've expressed divergent views as to the various attacks witnessed recently. President Buhari has now jetted off to Dakar in Senegal. He is expected to be in Katsina on Friday to observe the Salah festival, which will be held over the weekend. His trip is also drawing condemnation from Nigerians, with many asking that if the president's team and the Kuje prison could be attacked by terrorists, who then is safe in Nigeria? Joining us to discuss this issue and its implications is security expert Sheyi Adetayo. Welcome to TVC Breakfast.
Good morning.
What did you first think when you heard that the president's convoy was attacked?
Okay, I think it's a big deal because of the issues around, but ordinarily is something that the presidential convoy has been facing over the years. It's not just this president. So we need to have this understanding. There is an adage that says that if the rope is not settled, the bed cannot be settled on the rope. I had this opportunity of working with the president before, and in my lifetime in presidency, we've run into armed robbery on the road along Lokoja, Kogiro several times, and the convoy had been able to clear the robbers on the road, and they freed the road. So if there is a problem on the road and you are traveling, you'll meet the problem on the road. So it's not that one has nothing to do with whether there's no regard for presidential convoy, because the people, from the information we got, they were actually attacking a community, and they didn't know that presidential convoy will be. Then we need to understand this. The presidential convoy that people are looking at is the motorcade. This is not a motorcade. The president used to have, if the president is traveling to a place, there used to be the security advance party, and most times they are broken down. And talking about Katsina here, normally the president will have another set of motorcade permanently stationed in his hometown. So those that are coming are just a few to provide support. They usually travel in coastal buses and few ILOCs that will. So ordinarily when you see them, except you see SH, which is State House, on the plate number, you will never know that this particular convoy is actually coming from presidential. So they are all, from externally they look ordinary, but when you look inside, they are heavily armed, because majority of the people there are heavily armed, and when you confront them or they see things, they have strong response. And these are well-trained people who don't run away, but they are not trained to stand and confront. They are trained to clear and move on,
obstructions,
because they are presidential bodyguards. They are not fighting force to stand and start clearing the forest.
Make the distinction, because some people don't know the distinction between, they are not there as an aggressive force, but as a defensive force. Because in both cases, you need to shoot and you need to kill.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Make the distinction, because many people don't see the distinction.
You see,
I'm here to guard the place, but in guarding the place, if you come near me, I finish you.
Yeah,
it's the same thing. If I'm going to attack you anyway, I'm going to finish you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So the difference is this. So they are trained to protect the president. Say, for example, the president is in this building and there is an attack. Their training is to protect the president while whisking the president away. The people who will stand and fight are the external, circle, which are usually the military, and then the police that will be deployed to support them. But the main presidential team are to provide body cover for the president, and they move out of the danger zone into. They are not supposed to stand there and start fighting. So that is exactly what they witnessed, and that has been the procedure.
And is this what played out?
That is exactly what played out. They are meant to, confront whatever is obstructing them at that point, clear it, and then move on.
But is this? I'm sorry, please. But is this a standard practice? Okay, you've said it's a standard practice. You've also said it's a big deal that the convoy was attacked. Nevertheless, that the president wasn't among the team, he wasn't there, he wasn't present at the time. Is there any difference at all?
The president convoy cannot be easily attacked. You see, if the president is in the convoy, it is a different ball game entirely. It's a motorcade. And the commissioner of police will have done route lining. There will have been several, police and military vehicles stationed along that road at different levels. So the security structure there will be top notch with helicopters around. It's difficult for that to happen if it is a full presidential motorcade, because the moment the flag is on the vehicle, it's a different ballgame.
Because what they are trying to do is actually what they are doing is to provide intelligence, to say this is how the route is and so on. Even when they come to the main town, the president comes to the main town, not only Nigerian president, even the U.S. president during, if you're in the U.S., when they, either Biden or before him, Trump or Obama, when they were in town, they usually seal off areas in town. They see, that it's coming.
Exactly.
And you see heavily armed men in different parts. You know that you can't toy with the integrity of that arrangement. I know that. Now, it is fact that this situation was a matter of, this was just a relatively skeletal military operation that was moving. But that is fact. Symbolism is different. The symbolism is that it is presidential. The symbolism is that terrorists are everywhere. And the symbolism is that the terrorist group attacked a presidential convoy. That is the message that is going to resonate with anybody. It's not about whether you are heavily armed, it is the mainstay, the big soup of the presidential apparatus or not. People don't want to hear that.
It's going to be there for a long time, and that's why I tried to lay the foundation that it's not the first time. When I was with President Obasanjo, we had that encounter several times. It doesn't make the media because it's a normal thing when, you see, if the society is bedeviled with some challenges, it doesn't matter who is there, you are going to experience it. So that's the situation. The area is infested with terrorists. It doesn't matter who is passing through that area, you are going to, if they are around, you are going to, get your own, share of the cake. Exactly. So that's just what we're saying. And if the convoy, if the attack had resulted in deaths of the people there, then that becomes a major, major issue. It means that, if you see when this guy really plan attack, that they target, a particular team or particular group, the casualty figures is usually high. And I think this was just like a chanced attack, not
so not a targeted
It's just like when I interviewed governor of Ondo State, and they had certain encounter, and he said when the governor is moving, there's one metaphor is used like a rolling train or rolling something. Anything you see on the road,
you crush.
You pull this, you crush. So there was no threat. Then you don't feel any threat. But that is for him. For those people outside, it's a different story. It is that even you are not immune as the top security force in the security entity. You are not immune. That is the message that goes across.
And isn't that
there's
correct?
There's no way you can sugarcoat it.
That's the reality. It is the truth and it's the reality. You see, remember in the run-up to 2015 election, President Jonathan's convoy with him inside, was attacked several times. This time around, people pelting, the convoy with stones and the rest. It was a major issue.
Even despite the cordoning off.
Exactly.
Yes.
It was a major issue. So it's like, it's different stroke for different folks. That's just the way it is. But the reality is that there's a challenge in Nigeria. If the security situation is fine, nobody would dare, whether it is stone or gun, to attack.
And then looking at the attackers and, of course, the scene of the attack, Katsina is established, is having a recurring problem, curbing banditry. The governor has, dangled all kinds of fruits. none seem to work. And the army and other forces have been relentless in their onslaughts against them. But some say they are a complex group of criminals, more formidable than even Boko Haram and ISWAP. How do you look at this banditry threat, even though the government has called them now terrorists?
You see, we're all looking at these issues differently. The way government is looking at it is different from the way someone like me, I've been looking at this situation in terms of solution. And I believe that as long as we continue to follow this same approach, we'll continue to get the same problem, and the problem will become bigger. You see, you can't continue to do the same thing over and over and over and expect a different result. Until we come into reality that this is not a problem that you can put a quick fix and fix. Nowhere in the world where you can solve a problem like this 6 months or 3 months. That's been the problem right from Jonathan era. The more pressures on the generals, do a quick fix because this thing is creating embarrassment. This is a problem that will take, even from now, if we want to start implementing solutions now, we need 10 years plan. The reality is here is that we have in areas with large expanse of forested areas. And we coin ungoverned space. And that's the reality. The presence of governments there, whether it is big local government, whatever, is non-existent. And these people have been able to, cover this area in such a way that 5-10 kilometers away, if any government presence is approaching that area, they will know. They have their networks of spies and people, informants that give them information. And they've been able to suppress and subdue the people in the community that they are now relying on them. Look at the community that said that they pay 400 million for them to plant and harvest. It's the reality on ground. And for us to be able to solve this, we can't solve it with the strength of the military we have today. We can't solve it with the strength of the armed forces we have today. Niger State alone, if Nigerian armed forces are going to go to Niger to clear the Niger forest, will require about 80% of Nigerian armed forces. And we're talking about a whole of Northwest, North Central, Northeast, that is the bedevil, not talking about even South. The reality here is that we need to sit down and look at the fact that this is not about buying, 100 Tucano jets. This is not about buying, they are important. But the reality here is that we need to expand and build up a large fighting force where we'll enter this forest and start clearing area by area. The areas we're clearing, we are holding the ground until we clear all these forests and make that forest ungovernable, or a place where they cannot hibernate. They will continue to move. And look at the approach of our armed forces. They don't go into the forest to attack because it is difficult. The attacks that you've been seeing them are the ones carried out along the roads. Now, bandits have blocked the roads. The military will intervene, attack them, clear them. Those who they're able to kill, the others they are not able to kill, they're moving to the forest. They dare not follow them into the forest because there will be massacre. Look at the one that happened in Niger State just a few days ago.
There will be massacre on the parts of the
Nigerian forces. Because those people have taken over the forest. They have people there. They have people, even among the communities. So the issue here is that, I've said this even on this platform before, highlighted the approach that we need to take. See, we are getting to a level where by the time everything breaks down, if you are not careful, we'll end up start conscripting Nigerians to fight to protect our land. Why do we have to wait till the time we need to start conscripting Nigeria and make a deliberate military plan?
Are we not doing that already with Amotekun and Co?
Well, let's say we are still encouraging them to join. See, the reality here is that we need to drop a mass recruitment plan. Recruit soldiers, like the 5 years service program, where I know it's going to require a lot of logistics, a lot of budgeting and other arrangement. But please, let us move our fighting forces by ×3 or ×4 of what we have currently. Train them, and then we'll draw a 5 years program where we'll start our clearance. These guys are motivated a lot because they make a lot of money. This incident that happened in Katsina, they killed almost 20-something people. 2 people in this village, 6 people in this village, that same day. And they'll break into their store, cut away everything there, rustle their cow, and clear. When they carry this into the forest, it becomes big money for them. Now, between you working in a local government where you earn 15,000 per month, and then you are with this group where in a month you can boast of 1 million, the youths over there are being more motivated to to be part of this. We should not continue to deceive ourselves and be thinking that, oh, we are dealing with foreigners. Foreigners are involved, but they are minute in terms of the population of foreigners that are involved in this. They are likely Nigerians and they are motivated.
So you're saying we're simply outnumbered?
We're simply outnumbered. That's the reality.
But is it the issue of numbers? Is it not an issue of technology? Because you're talking about recruiting armies, recruiting all of this, which is fine. But we have new technologies, area technologies, intelligence technologies. You can use your drones and you can take these people out in the matter of time. You can do that. You can use your area intelligence. You can have what you call command centers. I was asking that what you are recommending is very fine, old-time military operation, and that modern operation, what you need drones, you need command centers, you need to see, identify, and take out. That's what the U.S. used against ISIL in the Middle East. Is you saw they were showing us the pictures.
Sir, the
they
US,
went to
hold on,
let me
US
finish.
failed.
Let me finish.
The US failed.
But ISIL is dead now.
No, ISIS is not dead. I'm coming.
No, in those places,
But
in
are they not
Iraq,
decimated?
No. Let me explain to you.
Yes.
See, you need to consider terrain in warfare. This is not an urban warfare. We're talking about warfare in forested area, interspaced with communities where people, Nigerians, are living. Now, America went into Afghanistan. No, that's the best military fighting force in the world. What is the success of America in Afghanistan? They failed woefully. The country is now back into the hands of jihadists. And not only that, look at the support they've given in Colombia and so many other countries where drug lords are in the forest. Have they succeeded in clearing them? They are still dead.
They are half-hearted. Those are half-hearted. Look, you look at American attitude towards Afghanistan. Let me explain something. The American attitude towards Afghanistan is still half-hearted. They were not really interested in doing. That's why they moved, because they were not really fully involved in it. The real problem with Afghanistan was that
they had to protect their own.
They couldn't get into the mountains. They couldn't get into the mountains. They couldn't get into some of the territories because they were using some locals and so on. They were foreigners going to foreign land. This is our country. This is our country. We know our country.
America was using drones.
Yes.
America was using the best of technology.
Yes.
They fired and each of those rockets fired from the drones, you know the cost. They fired several drones onto the mountainous region.
It's a fact
but they could not clear those people.
Right.
It's
a fact also about the American investment. But
see,
even
the issue here is that the terrain you are fighting is different. America went into Somalia.
Right. I take your point. Before you move
America
further,
went into Somalia. It's the reason why America decided not to be careful in getting involved in domestic issues of country. They went to Somalia. They lost there. Are you with me? Because it's not just about you have the best of equipment. Number one, you need to understand the complexity of the environment that you are going into. We're talking about an environment that is already invested with communities that are in support or working or doing things that are protecting these same people. You need to win the hands and minds of the people, and we lost that window.
I take your point.
You come to the point I was making, that they were working, they were fighting in foreign territories. They didn't know, those people knew those territories more than the Americans did. This is our land.
The bandits knows
this is our land. This is our people. Remember, our soldiers couldn't catch those people. Our policemen couldn't catch those people who attacked Owo. Who did it? Amotekun. So this is our land. I'm not going to quote one poem that says this is our land. This is our land. It is our place to use our own people to get the idiots among us. We are not doing that.
You are not coming back to what I was saying.
We know where they are. It's not like Afghanistan. Sometimes they didn't know where they were. In the case of ISWAP, in Iran, Iraq, they used the locals. America used the locals, and they went into their hiding places, and they flushed them out because they used the locals who knew the places.
Right, but let me add that even, please, Mr. Adetayo,
no,
let me add.
This happened when they swept around Iraq down towards the border of Syria.
All right,
they
gentlemen,
did that because they
let me
used
add
technology and they used locals.
on the issue of Amotekun and what was reported that they did in Owo. We understand now that there's still some controversy as to who the suspects Amotekun arrested, but the governor said on a safe note that, okay, they've transmitted the evidence they got from the suspects to the police. So we don't even know indeed whether these are the guys that carried out the attack.
The police is yet to come out.
Right. Now, to go back to the issue of, the America's strides in Afghanistan, you have both compared, the America situation and here in Nigeria, but you say that they failed. Now, the failure on the part of Nigerian forces, is it also on all fours with the failure of the Americans to stop the terrorists in Afghanistan?
See, if you have studied the terrain in Niger State, it's as large, it's the biggest land. They are the biggest land mass in Nigeria. I think about 90-something thousand square kilometers. And it has a forest canopy that extends all the way from Niger State through Zamfara into Katsina, all the way into Niger Republic, such that someone can ride motorcycle under that canopy, all the way from Niger State, if he has enough fuel and he will enter into Niger Republic without an area view. See, we need to understand what we're dealing with here. It's not that the Air Force, we have one of the best Air Force in the world. Our guys are gallant. But there are issues. You see, let me tell you, in the Northeast, when Air Force did a lot of job there. But at times, after Air Force have worked, there is no commensurate ground force complement to what they have done. All this has to come together. That's why I'm saying that even if we buy 100 Tucanos, we need to complement it with adequate ground force. We're talking about large expanse of land. You might fire your rocket when you see that there is a garden somewhere. They will disperse. Are you with me? And they move to somewhere else. They'll continue to move from one location to another location. We need to do clearing. Without a clearance operation, we just continue to hit here today, hit here tomorrow. How many are we going to fire? What is our budget? What is the cost of one rocket that a Tucano will fire? We need to put all these things into context here. So we're talking about the terrain, the complexity of the area, the willingness of the people to support our forces. And I don't really blame those people. It's a catch-22 situation for them. Either option is not favoring them. They support the government, these people will come and kill them. They support these people, government will come and arrest them for supporting,
but there is
they want to survive.
A civilian JTF. So how do you assess their performance? And there are also non-kinetic approaches that the military has, been talking about. Even in the Katsina case, we understand that there are locals who are also, on the side of the army. So how do you quantify all these efforts? Are they still a drop in the sea?
Exactly. See, these guys are trying their best. But it's like just using spoon to take water from the sea. That's the problem we're having. All our efforts like using spoon to take water from the sea. We need a massive action. Declare state of emergency in Nigeria. Part of what will happen is, and you see, look at that jailbreak. It's not only Boko Haram people that escaped, condemned criminals escaped, murderers, killers, rapists, they escaped. Just like the case in Edo and Imo, that the people that escaped went first to go and kill the people who put them into prison. You start seeing that happening. Some of those people who escaped now, they will go back to their communities where they were arrested and go on revenge mission. See, there are a whole lot of things that we must put in place. And I challenge our governors because a lot has to do with our governors' unwillingness to do what they're supposed to do as chief executive.
But they are constrained.
I'm coming. I want I'm going. There are lots of people that have been condemned to death. Nigeria is the only place where governors are looking at the moral angle to signing death warrants. You not keep these people there. Right. You're using taxpayers' money to feed them. Then the jail will be broken one day, and they are now out. Why continue to keep them spending and preparing them to return back to the society?
These people were not even tried. They have not been tried.
I'm even talking about those
He's saying
that have been condemned in the last
so we
20,
have other,
25 years.
so it's even beyond Boko Haram fleeing.
There are lots of issues around here. The more reason why we need to declare state of emergency. Number one, that will give government to say, you know what, those that have been condemned, we need to free our prison. If the governors are not willing to sign, the president can sign and let all those people leave. That is why because so that we prevent them from returning, since we cannot protect our prison to prevent them from coming out. That is one. Number two, some of these people that are under state of emergency, it allows certain legal system to be created where dispensation of justice can be swift under state of emergency, where those that have been arrested, the trial can be done under another different arrangement. It also will also give our security forces ample, leverage to be able to do certain things that under this current situation they cannot do. You see, this situation we are having right now requires drastic measures. Right now, we have to face this thing along and decide that we need to clear this. And it has to touch all our criminal justice system as a whole. It has failed. Right from investigation to prosecution in the courts and to the prison system, it has failed. Some of those people there that have been on murder trial for 15, 20 years are still there. Case still in court, not determined. They are all out. It's not just Kuje that happened. No. How many times has Kogi prison been broken? Those ones that escaped, how many have they been able to arrest? Condemned criminals. The Imo, how many of them have they been able to? Edo, several. Even Lagos here, it almost happened during NSAS. And there is no time that we've seen attempt at our prison that you've seen when the prison armed squad have been able to repel. What are they doing there? Why were they trained? What is the essence of the weapon with the prison squad that they cannot even effectively in any of the attempts on our prison? The one in Lagos we were saved in Lagos by the military, the DSS and the police that responded during the NSAS crisis. If not, the prison warders have been overwhelmed. So we need to look, Ministry of Interior needs to look at what is happening. Is it that the weapon, because majority of them are carrying FN rifle. FN rifle, even the military don't carry FN rifle anymore.
Okay, you mean the terrorists?
No, I'm talking about the prison warders. The weapons that the military has been abandoned somewhere, they are the ones that they are being given to them.
So that's another problem.
So there are a lot of issues around our criminal justice system.
Oh wait, there's this point that we still need to clear. The forests in the north, as far as I know, you call them carpet and all of that. They tend
canopy,
to be, they
forest
call them canopy, yes, same thing as carpet. That you cannot see from above. I don't think that is the case because I know that the forests are not like our own mangrove forests.
There's a forest canopy within that forest.
Yes.
Where they
can isolate it. Can't they isolate them? It's a matter of isolation. And two, the other question.
Large expanse of land.
I know. It's a task.
You need technology. That's why you need the men. Technology can solve that for you.
Technology can help you first. Identify. Drones see far.
All those ones has been done. Mapping. Our military, our air force have been able to map all these areas. Our problem is not lack of intelligence. It's not lack of intelligence.
Exactly.
Because most of all these attacks, intelligence has been provided. The problem is the action agency. Those who, when intelligence are given, they are classified. Top secret or secret. It is specifically for certain people. So you won't know because it was not directed to you. Those who the intelligence were directed at or to, what have they done with the intelligence? Kaduna Abuja train attack, there was intelligence in that regard. To the action agent, what did they do to it? That's why you didn't see the minister or the Nigerian Railway Corporation coming out to say they didn't get intelligence. So what happened?
Even Kuje.
Exactly. Even the Imo prison. Initially they were trying to, and then people came up and say, no, you had intelligence. They couldn't deny it. Because we know that they got intelligence. So our problem is not that of intelligence. It's about, do we have, the response capability that is commensurate with the intelligence product in our hands.
Somebody was here a few days ago from Southern Kaduna to say, we tell these people where they are. We know where they are. We tell them we have soldiers at checkpoints. When they are told that these things are going to happen, the soldiers say somebody told us not to do anything. How would you respond to that?
See, it depends on how
That there is deliberate, that there's deliberate
it is
incompetence.
easy for people to begin to interpret certain actions as being, intended to expose them or to sabotage them. Now you got intelligence. 300 people on motorcycles are in a particular place. A military checkpoint containing about 12 people. Maybe another military checkpoint containing about another 14 people. And they have been told. They inform their board and say, please hold on. Why? Military actions require lots of logistics and planning. Those people on ground may not be able to, obviously, challenge 300 people on motorcycles. And these people are fighters.
So they would rather stay put.
They will tell them to wait. Why they plan? Because if those people should go, it's going to be a massacre. We've seen that happening.
But even if we get the numbers that you're advocating for, that idea, that principle of an ordinary soldier of obey the last command, wouldn't that also stall the war against terrorism?
Military activities is a trade craft. And those people have been trained in warfare. We will look at it from civilian perspective as an easy thing. Trust me, it is not as easy.
I'm not saying it's easy.
No, not you. I'm talking about the way people, I know you are highly experienced, so I know. You said the way people look at it outside is different. Every time we lose a soldier, is a lot. Those 30-something killed in Niger State is a whole lot. We have only seen the dead bodies and the video, but we don't know what is costing the Nigerian army, reaching out to the family, consoling the family, and also managing the morale of the other soldiers there. So you see soldiers that are already seeing how their colleagues have been killed, massacred. Then you now wonder even if their boss asks them to, they'll say, Ogasa, information we get say, those people are like times 10 of us, so it's going to be. You see, no commander will want a revolt. He also want to make sure that he gives his men enough confidence by giving them enough reinforcement that will encourage them to go and confront. You see, we need to be very careful not to create even an insurrection, mutiny within the armed forces itself, because they are losing their men. And we are praying that God will continue to hold. And that's why we as a people, we need to continue to motivate them, continue to encourage them at this period in our national life so that they continue to fight. But our politicians must demonstrate enough willingness to do the needful
But how
right
would
now.
you also address the issue of allegations of infiltration? In the Kuje attack now, they were saying that there were so many security posts around the place. There were supposed to be at least 100 combined security forces at Kuje.
Our prison system is a complete mess. Let me tell you, if government commissioned the GSS now to move into all the prisons, as we speak now, as remain existing prisons, in each of the prisons, there will be nothing less than 20 to 30 phones from the cells. Are phones meant to be in the hands of inmates? All the prisons today, they have phones with the inmates. I can assure you that this attack must have been planned from inside. It's not the first time. I'm not telling you something, an assumption. Confirmed. Confirmed. What I'm telling you here is confirmed. This is not just with the VVIPs. Even those that are in the general areas, they have access to phones.
Is it not also confirmed for the army and other security forces of this infiltration corruption?
So when we are having not only phones, even drugs. See, the Nigerian Correctional Service is messed up. And there needs to be a total haul of the correctional service as it is. The training is poor. They don't stand to fight. The training is poor. The equipment they have is poor. I don't know much about their welfare. Their welfare is poor. You see, I visited one of the prisons in Nigeria, and I saw one of the prison warders wearing tattered clothes. So the clothes were patched. I called the colleague, what's the problem? He said, he's one of their big. There and there, I called that. I said, how much does it take for him to sew a new uniform? I have a witness for this. And he told me, and I counted the money. I didn't give it to the guy. I gave it to the colleague. Please buy him a new uniform and let him wear. This is not how a prison warder supposed to look like? Someone like that can easily collect money from.
So let's tell you, you're still not answering my question. Even if we have the perfect prison officials, they couldn't have handled the onslaught on their own. What happened to the other, supporting security forces that ought to have guarded the place?
Remember I said that the whole Nigerian Correctional Service is a mess. It's not just the warder. How much will it cost the Ministry of Interior to put a central alarm systems in our prisons? This is how a central alarm system works.
Even with the cameras, the CCTV cameras and all
how
that.
Many you can count how many prisons that has cameras. The central alarm system is such that it will be connected to the first armed responders around. So that if there is an incident, moment they press that button, the military, the police, the DSS formation, NSCD formations around receive that alert. They know that they are. So within 5 to 10 minutes, there is reinforcement. This is happening. It's not a new technology. In America, in the olden days, the bank has those things. The moment there's a bank robbery, they press it. The nearest police division district is aware that there's a bank robbery. They move in. How much will you see?
Well, that's the point the question I was trying to say, that we don't have a mobile force, whether it is police, whether it's the army, whether it's the air force. We don't have a mobile force. What it means is that at the trigger, you know what to do. You are always at the ready, in numbers and in direction.
With that, there will have been an SOP that the moment this...
What's SOP?
Standard operation procedure.
Right, so everyone can follow.
That moment you see this alarm rings in your formation, it means that there is an incursion, armed incursion or riot in the prison.
You're already trained ahead.
You don't need, the leader at that time does not need a higher authority's directive. Because it has been there that under this condition, you have the authority to respond. As you're responding, you can be communicating to them that you are responding, but your order is that moment this bell rings, you respond. These are the things, apart from even the wall. If you look at it's an archaic structure. I've visited several prison facilities in Nigeria, and then I can tell you that in this modern day Nigeria, that we're still having prisons like this, my suggestion is that prison system should be decentralized. It should allow the states to build their own prisons. It will allow the congestion in the current prison. And it will be only people with federal crimes, like terrorists, that will be there. And they'll be able to treat them the way they're supposed to treat them. But when you're having people with lesser crimes, a little bit,
mingling
that's the case.
You are going to have layers of procedures, and that will create weakness.
That's the case in the U.S. And they're not even given proper welfare. I mean, I spent a night in Denver County Jail as a reporter in Colorado. I spent a night there to see how they were treated. I ate with them. I interacted with them from 6 a.m., from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning. And I saw, you can see how human beings are treated. As bad as their situation
I can imagine.
might be.
Right, I can imagine. All right, gentlemen, time to leave the set. Sheyi Adetayo, thank you so much for your insightful contributions on TVC Breakfast.